Dallas, Edmonton, Carolina, Florida for the NHL. I mean, can you do worse? I'm interested. Great teams. I'm wrapped, fully in. But if you're a U.S. based team,
Tough draw.
ESPN, you're like, Cup final, Edmonton, Carolina.
Dallas is a big market.
Dallas is your best bet.
TV market for the U.S.
Dallas is your best bet for sure.
Bad laundry.
I like.
No, it's just there's no, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, if you put all these rosters on teams with more history, that would be such a more exciting thing. Like, I think there's some really good teams left, but it's like Florida and Carolina is the set.
You're probably right.
You don't want to see it.
Before we go anywhere, and as we wait for Jason Bukala, we need some Jets talk right now, because as I'm watching Dallas win in overtime against the Winnipeg Jets, I couldn't help but think that 15 or 20 years from now, outside of maybe the Dallas market, no one's going to remember who won that game, but everybody's going to remember that Mark Scheifele played that night with a broken heart. And to me, that will stand the test of time far, far beyond the game's outcome.
It is hard to watch that game and feel like there's a just and loving God. That was an atrocious ending. Like, just his head sinking as they score in overtime was literal, waterworks, like tears.
I have to tell you, my classic move after any Leaf playoff loss is immediate TV off.
Yeah.
When that goal hit the back of the net, I was like,
I don't need
can't
to see
I can't
anything else
believe
here. That was
just happened.
awful.
And to be fair, he does get the amazing moment of scoring earlier in the game. I'm sure he won't really look back on that with, he has that moment. The smile on his face, it was an incredible moment. But, for him to even play, it's heartbreaking stuff. Heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's, I've got a couple close family and friends that are Jets fans, and this one really hurt. Everything kind of went wrong that could go wrong. Morrissey is out in that game, halfway through the game, something like that. So they're missing him in the big moments. That hurt. Scheifele has this happen before the big game. Hellebuck struggles on the road.
So when I was, quick story here, maybe so quick. When I was 19 years old, I'm playing in North Bay, and my parents come up to tell me that a cousin I'm really close to, family cousin, was killed in a car accident at age, 24, 25, and it was devastating to our family. I leave North Bay, I go down with my family for a few days, and funeral, and then just as I'm leaving to go back up to North Bay, my uncle, father, calls me over and he goes, "You got to score 2 goals tonight in Belleville for George." And that's all I was left with. I played that night in Belleville. I scored the first goal, and it was late in the third, and I needed to get this goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I did score it.
You did.
And I started bawling on the ice. Like, I'm talking waterworks. I never felt so much emotion and just you got to score 2 goals for George. You got to score 2 goals for George. That's all I kept repeating the whole game. And I'm telling you, I don't know how Mark Scheifele did it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
So,
I mean, that's your dad.
God, yeah, no, I can't. So on the bench, do you find yourself drifting, thinking other things and tough to stay in the moment?
I cannot believe he was able to do that in, 12, 14 hours. I don't know what it was, but it was, and I don't know the whole story, but it's all indications was it was unexpected and shocking to Mark and the whole organization. And I get it. I get his feeling of, my dad would want me to play.
Mm-hmm.
And no one can judge that. No one can sit there and say it was a right or wrong call. It's what's right for you. And for him to have been able to participate and actually score a goal in that moment. Oh
It
my
was
God.
great
I
patience.
just cannot believe what he was able to do.
I wonder, Kip, how Jets fans feel. Obviously, they feel for Scheifele and love the guy, and they're excited that he's their captain and be back next year and all that sort of stuff. I wonder how they feel about the whole season. Like, are you able to be critical of the Jets? This feels like such a overreaching story. Not overreaching, but just far-reaching story. There's some criticism to be had of the Jets that we need to get to at some point, and
For sure.
we have time.
All right, let's go to Jason Bukala, Pro Hockey Group, Sportsnet's done a terrific job all season long for us and continues throughout these playoffs. Books, how are you, man? And where are you? You got a new set.
Well, yeah, I am. Listen, I'm here for you guys all the time, right? You know that.
Yes.
So I had my Monday golf thing with my buddies here, but I peeled off the fourth hole to come into the Champions Lounge, crush a chicken quesadilla with a lemonade, and here I am with you guys. So
How'd you hit it the first
this
three?
Is the old school. This is what's that?
How'd you hit it? First few holes.
Birdied two, hit a heck of a chip shot, gagged one on three, made par on four, which is the hardest hole. So we'll see how I do from here on in.
Oh, boy.
I'll keep you posted.
All right.
This is the Champions Lounge at the Oaks Golf and Country Club here. I've never been in the Champions Lounge, so here I am.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Books, let's start with the Winnipeg Jets because I know it's a bitter disappointment, but when you factor everything in, I got to think that the fans at this stage of, I guess, where this group is, shouldn't necessarily feel like Leaf fans today where things are coming to an end. They're going to get other opportunities, down the road here, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So lots to unpack, obviously, with the Jets. I was listening to you guys before I came on. I just have to give a shout out to Mark Scheifele as well. That was just gut-wrenching TV for me. It really was. And you're just not human if you didn't think that was gut-wrenching TV. So that was tough to watch. But I digress. And in regard to the Winnipeg Jets themselves, guys, the thing that they do extremely well, perhaps better than any other team in the National Hockey League, is they insulate the organization through the draft. And they draft and develop so when Ehlers hits free agency, Dmitry Reshevsky, who's expiring at Moscow Dynamo in the KHL, I'm hoping that they get him signed and they bring him over. Now, is he going to be a top six guy? Maybe. He's going to be middle six at worst. So, they start to they have things on the horizon that will help the team. And then, of course, they've got guys that are signed to very friendly contracts, Winnipeg Jet type contracts. I'm disappointed in the Jets. If I want to take the micro right now, I had them going to the Stanley Cup final. I really felt like this was as good a chance as they would have. They obviously suffered through some injuries. Morrissey is a huge one. And they couldn't quite get the goaltending that's required. And that has to be a talking point. I don't know what you do about it per se, but